I want to take a moment and talk a little bit about the Sportsmen Act, which has been a long time in the making, as you know. And I especially want to thank Chair Murkowski for her partnership in leading this bill, as well as Senators Risch, Manchin, Fisher, and Heitkamp for their leadership of the Sportsmen's Caucus, and Senator Tester and former Senator Hagan for their work in leading previous iterations of this package. Like a lot of New Mexicans, some of my favorite memories with my family are from hunting trips. And I take a great deal of pleasure in teaching my two sons to hunt and fish on our public lands in my home state of New Mexico. Just this past Christmas break, Micah and Carter, my boys, joined me for what would be Carter's first elk hunt. And after several days of hard hunting, hiking miles through the rough and tumble backcountry of the Continental Divide Wilderness Study Area, Carter harvested his first elk. He takes a great deal of pride in the meals that elk provides for our family and friends, including the chair. and more importantly, he knows that hunting is conservation and that we have a responsibility to hand these wildlife resources off to the next generation unimpaired. But for too many hunters and anglers, particularly in the West, it gets harder and harder each year to find a quiet fishing hole or that secluded meadow where you can stalk the bull elk of your dreams. As sportsmen face more and more lock gates and even no hunting signs, it's more important than ever that we keep our public lands open and welcoming to hunters and anglers. And that's what this bill does. I myself have experienced the frustration of running into a lock gate on roads that used to be open to the public and had provided access to public land. So I'm especially pleased that this bill, that the bill we are passing out of committee today includes my legislation, the Hunt Act, which requires public land agencies to identify high-priority lands under their management that currently lack public access routes for recreational users and work with states, tribes, and willing private landowners to provide public access to those areas that have a significant potential for hunting, fishing, and other recreational uses. The bill targets lands that are technically open to the public, but are impossible to reach legally because there is no public trail or road leading to them. For instance, in northeastern New Mexico, the Sabinoso Wilderness is made up of 16,000 acres of narrow mesas, rugged canyons, spectacular grasslands, but until just this month, the public was blocked from legally reaching any of it. Thanks to a generous private benefactor, the public will be able to begin visiting the Sabinoso in the very near future. The Hunt Act will help identify areas like these that are priorities for sportsmen and other recreational users and find solutions to open these special outdoor places to the public. And lastly, the bill also includes reauthorization of the Federal Land Transaction Facilitation Act. I know that's a mouthful. This bill directs revenues from public land sales towards purchasing high-value conservation lands, a critical tool for conserving fish and game habitat. Hunting and fishing are integral parts of our American heritage, but without our public lands, that tradition could be lost. This bill will make sure our kids and grandkids will be catching trout and chasing antelope on our public lands for many decades to come.